Do you and your partner make at least $70,000 a year? Congratulations, you made it. And you can probably qualify for a house, but can you actually afford one? In today's video, we're gonna go over if you make $70,000, what you can qualify for, what you can safely afford, what your budget should actually look like. And last but not least, we're gonna take a peek at what kind of houses we can buy across the country with these numbers. So let's start off by breaking down what you're actually bringing home to the table. If you have an annual gross income of $70,000, this means that your monthly gross income is $5,833. Now, how a lender will qualify you is they will get this number, $5,833.33, and what they will do is they will get half of it. And this number will be $2,916.67. Now, from this number, they're going to subtract any minimum payments you have on your credit, like your credit cards or your car payments. So in this case, let's assume you have, I don't know, car payment of $400. Maybe you have $100 credit card payments, just your minimum amount. So not actually taking what you pay for. So if we subtract 500 from this number, you qualify for a good $2,416. So let's just say you qualify between $2,500 to about $3,000 a month. Call your mom, call your dad, you made it. But wait, that's what you can qualify for. What can you actually afford? If you were to use that number that the lender gives you, let's just assume you have no debt and you can qualify for the full $2,900. Let's analyze that, because guess what? You're not actually bringing home $5,833. You're actually bringing home less. If your annual income is $70,000, then your net income is about 75% of that on average. So it's about $52,500. This depends what state you're in, of course. Some states have higher taxes than others, but on average, we're going to use 25% here. So you're actually bringing home only $4,375. And if you were to actually go with what you qualify for, which is $2,916, that would be about 66% of your take-home income, meaning if you get paid twice a month, literally your first check plus a good chunk or 15% of the next check will be taken just for your mortgage. This means your house broke and you want to avoid this. So what we're going to do to avoid this is we're going to work our way backward. And instead of going with what the lender tells us we qualify for, we're going to find out what we can safely afford. And for this, we're going to use a standard rule of thumb, 30% of our net income. Now remember, our monthly net income is $4,375. If we get 30% of that, you can afford a whopping $1,312.50 to be exact. So how does that look like in a budget? Well, first and foremost, let's go over what a standard budget should look like. Just like in previous videos, we're going to use the 50-30-20 rule here, where 50% of our income goes towards needs, 30% goes towards wants, and 20% goes towards savings. Now, I got a little flamed for my previous video because I thought I used the right article, but in this article, it said like it was $200 for groceries. Let's just say some of you guys really disagreed with that. So I made sure to find another article that goes over the averages using obviously the entire. This is a big country, okay? The average varies greatly, but I'm a little more generous with the numbers to maybe make it more realistic for you guys. So here is the budget according to the numbers I found. Now we're leaving the mortgage zero for now, but before we look at this, I want you to guys look at the goal here, right? Because if we're doing 50-30-20 and we're basing it off our net income, which is about $4,375, this means that 50% is going to our needs. This includes mortgage, credit card payments, insurance, things that you need for survival, wants, things that you don't necessarily need, or you can survive without, like clothing, subscription, entertainment, savings for travel, and etc. And savings being you're investing towards your future, right? According to this, you need to be able to live off of $2,187, okay? Now, here's where we run into a little bit of an issue already, because if you're looking at the budget numbers here, car payment on average, let's just assume that you have a better car payment, okay? Insurance is about $100, utilities is about $350 according to, and this includes like water, power, everything, on the internet, everything. Groceries $600 because some of us like to eat. I guess $200 was a little too aggressive for you guys, so we'll leave that as $600. Cell phone $100, childcare $500, minimum credit cards is $200. So that's $2,000, which is great because it's under our goal. But the mortgage payment's missing. This is already a big problem. It's already like, whoa, what's going on here? So I guess this budget is meant for someone who doesn't have a kid and who eats very low groceries. I guess what happens here is that like you wouldn't be able to save as much for travel. You would probably be spending less for here. But either way, this leaves us already in a small issue. We're going to take off the childcare credit for now. We're going to lower these amounts because we're going to try to make this work. Our savings are at 0 right now. Let's just put a $500 savings per month just for now. And essentially that's where we are. So if we plug in that monthly affordability number, which was $13.12 and 50 cents, then we're struggling a bit. I'm having it tell me my percentages here just to kind of visually be a little more easier to follow. And with that amount, $13.12, it's not working for that 50% number. We would have to sacrifice more things here, or quite frankly, we're stealing from the percentages that are supposed to be here. Anyways, we have to work the numbers around. Okay, with me putting the groceries up to $600, it's starting to look more towards 100, but we're still allocating too much towards our needs and not enough towards our savings. But I mean, what can I remove here? If anything, I'm downsizing or I'm downplaying what the amount that I'm putting here is already, right? So the only thing that realistically makes sense is we're removing, like, well, I mean, we need cell phone, we need utilities, you need insurance, you need your car payment, I guess, but really it's the mortgage amount, I guess, that needs to go lower. So it's already giving us issues here where we're putting too much towards our needs and we're taking away from our savings. And the wants can be being a little generous with the wants. It could be a little more, but you can see already, or I can see already, how many people out there cannot save at the rate that they want to because our needs are eating up too much of our income. Even at $70,000, which frankly sounds like a lot, right? When you tell someone, oh, I make $70K a year, that sounds like, oh yeah, congrats. But it's already looking really tough and really tight. So now that we know what you can afford versus what you can qualify, and we know how it looks like in a budget, then let's find out how it looks like in a mortgage. Like, what kind of price do I qualify for? What kind of house can I get? Let's start off with a good solid number, like $300,000, just to kind of start. We're going to do a 5% down payment. Nowadays, really, you should try to save more. So let's just say 10%, okay? Interest rate will not be 5%. We're probably looking in the 6s, like high 6s right now. 30 years, and this is where it's going to get a little dicey. Now, last time what I did is I did like a general range. I said a low tax number of 2,000, a medium tax number of 4,000, and a high tax number of 6,000. And a lot of you in the comment section were like, $6,000? Oh my God, that's nothing. Here in Texas, we pay $14,000 a year. Okay, I might have undersold it a bit. So let's mess with those ranges a bit, and let's say 2,000 on the lower end, 4,000 on the medium end, and 8,000 on the high end. Is that okay? I know there's states out there that are over 10K. I'm sorry. I honestly, I'm so sorry they have to pay that much in property taxes. But for now, we're going to be using the mid-range, which is like 4,000 a year. Okay? Is that all right? Please adjust this number based on your taxes. Don't yell at me in the comment section anymore, please. An insurance premium, let's just assume you're paying $1,500 around there. PMI will leave at 50, and basically that gives us a monthly payment of $1,760, but that's just principal and interest. Of course, this is $2,268. So this is how the number looks like with a tax rate of 4,000. So our payment is $2,268.53 with our taxes in the mid-range around 4,000. If your taxes are on the lower end, around 2,000 a year, that payment looks like 2,101. If they are higher, let's say around 8,000 a year, you're paying about $2,601.86. And you know what? Just for all them Texas folks who like their big things like their belt buckles and property taxes, a whopping $12,000 a year will be about $2,935.20 as a monthly payment. So if we go back to our average rate of $4,000 a year and we shop around interest rates, because I know some of you guys might be watching this years later and maybe rates are cheaper. So let's go over that. Right now at near 7, that payment is $22.68.53. If your interest rate is near 5, that payment is $19.57.75. And if you're fortunate enough to get your rate near 3%, that payment looks like $16.46.66. And God forbid you are in the higher range at 9%, you're at $26.81. All right, so now we're back here. And obviously now that we got a good range of what that looks like at $300,000, we can already digress that none of these numbers work, right? And I use 300K as just like an average number because that's what I usually do. So now we have to kind of mess with the numbers a bit and figure out what number would work that will get us to that golden number of 1312, I believe it was. So let's play with it. Let's go down to 250 and see where our monthly payment goes there. We're still at 1975. We go down to 200,000, we're at 1681. Our property taxes are still high. Insurance premiums are still high. And the more I'm going through this, the more it looks like it's going to be another situation where if somebody wants to buy something, it's going to have to be a little bit out of their means, right? So I'm already here at 1388. I mean, I'm near 1300 at a $150,000 house, which is simply not doable. It's just very, very difficult to get there. So as I'm sitting here playing with the numbers, I'm already kind of seeing that the average rule of 30% isn't just working. Like if I was in a situation, I'm looking at the price I qualified for and I'm thinking to myself, it's not working. Now I'm not going to be dumb and go all the way to 2,900, but at the same time, it's like we have to make it stretch a little more. So what I'm doing here now on the screen is I'm just kind of seeing how it looks like. I can see this is a number that we were originally trying to focus on. It's the same number, it's just less decimal places, but it's 13, 12, 50. So I'm kind of playing around with it. There's another rule of thumb, 33% of your net. And then there's a little on the tighter end, but 28% of your gross is another rule of thumb. Here, I think 30% of your gross is just pushing it, but I'm already kind of having to make like exceptions to rules here and say, okay, well, this rule of thumb won't work. So I have to go to one that's a little more generous at 1633. Because now at 1633, I have a little better idea of qualifying for something and it's still within my budget, meaning it's still not really house broke, but it's just unfortunately what has to be done, right? So around 1600 is where I need to be. So now I can maybe push it to 250. We're around 1975 and the taxes are still too high. Maybe I have to buy in a lower property tax state. Still not really working though. So like 200, that's 650.98. Okay, we're getting better. And 230 seems to be too much. So like around 225 is what I'm guessing that we're gonna be around 220-ish. Yeah, that's still with the taxes and that not working, but we'll call it like 200 to 220 around there. So let's just acknowledge how crazy that is. Like, it should be very simple. Okay, I qualify up to here, yes, but I only want to be around 30%. And I'm sensing that's what a lot of families are doing around the country, where they're like, we're not dumb. We know that the rule of thumb tells us to be around here, but like it just doesn't work. Like we have to live somewhere decent. Well, let's see if 220 can get us somewhere decent. I can already see, like if you're looking here in Phoenix, 220 probably wouldn't work. So if you are in the Phoenix, Arizona area and you are in this position, then it might be best for you to move to a different area, which is terrible. It sucks, but if we're in the state of mind where we're buying a house, right? We're like, I'm gonna buy something. This is the situation. It is what it is. Rates are high. It is what it is. And I'm in Phoenix. I probably need to do a few things. I probably need to settle for a townhouse or a condo, or I need to move to an outskirts city, or I need to move into a different city completely, like not Phoenix, probably move out in one of the middle cities in between the major cities. So if we look at Motley Fool, has a great chart here on their website. It's telling us by state, I can already identify which ones won't work. Like I know anything that's basically a darker green, like basically here, 400K, wouldn't work. Probably could qualify for it, but can't afford it. So we can already know for sure. These California, I think that's New York, is out. What is that? Rhode Island? New Jersey, that's out. Oregon, Washington, Utah, Colorado. I think these are all where all my audiences are. I'm sorry, guys. Arizona, Nevada, Idaho, Montana. Even these don't work. So the ones that work are these lighter green ones, which are all the Midwest states. New Mexico, they got good meth down there. I'm just kidding. I know you guys probably hate the Breaking Bad jokes. I'm sorry. Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, South Carolina, like basically Midwestern cities is where we're going to be at. Let's do Kansas. How would that look like in Kansas? Now, of course, this is a super wide search, right? But we're just going to pick out a house here and see how it works. This is in Pittsburgh, Kansas, 205,000. House looks super cute. So let's see how the monthly payment would look like for this. 205,000. Let's see if we can verify the tax history here. About 1713 in 2021. Now the taxes might be, Zillow doesn't give accurate taxes all the time, but we're just going to go with that just for the sake of the video. We're going to do 205. Let's see, what are the interest rates at right now? Right now we are at 6.9 conforming, 6.8 FHA. Yikes. So let's just do 6.8, leave it at 6.8. Looks like the average insurance is about $22.76 per year. So we're going to tap that in our premium here. So see how I'm not a native to Kansas, and I'm getting all this info. All I need is a decent calculator, which if you like this one, it's mine that's accessible on my Patreon. But you can use any calculator really. And it breaks down the interest here, how much you're paying about that 30 years. So just having knowledge of a decent calculator and just doing this, you're able to, I'm doing this on my own. You can learn how to do this as well. And this basically gives me the monthly payment under where I need to. So essentially, this is the conclusion. If I am today making under $70,000 and I don't want to buy just what I qualify for, because a lot of people go like, oh, I can qualify up to 2,800 and I'll rent out a room or two and I'll find a way, or I can always call my mom and dad to help me if I can't make the payment. You could do that. But what you could also do is live within your means and go get something you can actually afford. Either means you have to sit back and save until you have a higher down payment so you can be more aggressive, and maybe while you wait, hopefully the prices adjust, or maybe the rates flatten out. Honestly, the prices can stay where they are. That's fine. It's just the interest rates dropping is going to help a lot, but I know that will cause a reverse effect, and yeah, whatever. Or you have to move into the Midwest and find yourself a little home in, Illinois, Kansas, Louisiana, somewhere in those middle states. And that's terrible. As a country, how terrible is it that we're in a position where you want to be a homeowner? Get your butt in the middle of the country. If you want to stay where you are, get your deposit out and rent a place, because that sucks. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this video is not meant to discourage you. It's meant to encourage you. You need to be realistic about the numbers. Get yourself into something that's going to be smart, right? Don't just go buy something to flex on people. That's nice that we can flex once in a while, but really, homeownership is the best flex you can have. Even if you have to move to achieve it, go get yourself a house before a corporation buys it before you and forces you to rent it out, okay? So do what you need to. Start saving. Be patient if you're going to stay where you are, or start planning a move, because it's tough out there, but you can do it. If you're interested in watching more videos, I have other videos here where I discuss if you can afford with different salaries or different prices. So go check those out now. See you guys in the next video.